It's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. He went to bed, couldn't get up in the morning. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. He went.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And today we'll be talking actually about the 2009 Taconic State Parkway crash. So in the car with her, with Diane Schuler, was her 5-year-old son, her 2-year-old daughter, and her brother's 3 daughters, who is at the time 8, 7, and 5. So the day at was July 26, 2009. At 9:30 a.m., Diane Schuler left the campsite. She left Hunter Lake Campground, which is in Parksville, New York, and she left in her 2003 Ford Windstar, and she is gonna drive home with her 2 kids and her nieces. And also on the same day that when that left the campground was her husband, Daniel Schuler. He so he left in a separate vehicle to pick up his dog, and this is when it gets like confusing because Diane Schuler drove 1.7 miles after stopping at the gas station. She stopped. She drove 1.7 miles in the wrong direction and crashed into an oncoming car that killed 8 people. So it killed her daughter, her 3 nieces, and 3 from the other car that Diane Schuler crashed into. And when the toxicology report came in, it shows that she has drank to the equal amount of 10 cans of beers, right? So and drivers who was driving the other way, when Diane Schuler was driving the wrong way around on a highway, there is a statement where it is unclear, where some people had said that she is driving erratically, but they didn't say whether is it erratically because whether she may be drunk or she is, because when you have people who is erratic when they're driving, sometimes you can tell if anyway, stretch that idea. So what I was trying to say here is that her in toxicology report doesn't seem to be in sync with reports from people. And how in the world did she drive 1.7 miles on the wrong way, like wrong side of the street, and then she didn't like get into a crash between the first 7 miles of her driving, and it takes her like more than 1 mile to get into a car accident, which like surprised me because like streets, if she was that drunk, she would crash into a pole or anything that is in the way, not like within the first 1 mile, and not like drive 1.7 miles to get into a crash, if you understand what I'm talking about. And the documentary that came out last year was like bizarre because Dan Schuler was saying that my wife don't drink, and then in the second sentence he said my wife never drink. So the two sentences doesn't really coincide with each other because don't is like saying, oh, maybe she has drink before but it's like not as much. But when you say that my wife never drinks, so which one is it? Has she drank once or twice, like maybe in a week or something, or does she really drink zero? And I wonder whether, so this is like all conspiracy that it is never solved on like what actually happened. At least for me, it's like not completely solved because for me, I never understood the logic behind it. Where it did say that Diane, so Daniel said that his wife doesn't do drugs, and in another like comment, he told investigators that his wife smoked marijuana occasionally. So then that has a conflict too, because I, is another statement that is completely different from what you were saying before. It is hard to be talking about something where no one has been charged. For me, that the husband should have been charged in a way because I feel that he was like part of the responsibility, like responsible one, that he is um he might have drove off earlier than his wife and in a separate car. But does did the officers like question him saying what is the what did he do like right before he left, when he left, and what happens after? Because there is a lot of like empty space where they're only going after Diane Schuler, who, yes, she drank supposedly 10 cans of beer, but could there be drugs that maybe cause her to be like drinking that puts the same amount of like drugs that maybe her husband put in her, that is the same amount of like alcohol. I don't know whether that makes sense. Because there is like, if you see like CSIs in something that is like, you say that you take marijuana and you occasionally, and it seems that you have drank maybe like 20 um, cans of beer, so it's like the same. But yeah, so let me know actually what you think about what happened to Diane Schuler, because for me it's hard to be talking about this so broadly, when all the information that is given out is kind of like out of nowhere. And why didn't the father decide to take the kids when he knew that his wife had like mental disorders before? You know what I mean?
Listen to this. I go to bed every night knowing my heart is clear. She did not drink. She's not an alcoholic. Listen to all that. She is not an alcoholic, and my heart is rested every night when I go to bed. Something medically had to happen.